Okay, picture this. Sarah secures the multi-million-dollar deal. Huge win. The boardroom. It's all strategy, nerve, total triumph. She closes her laptop. You hear that click.
Yeah.
That feels final, powerful. She's the senior vice president. She's got this authority. Competence just radiates from her, sharp suit, total armor.
The corporate warrior.
Totally. But then she gets in the car, drives home, puts the key in her front door.
And another click. That quiet little sound of a lock turning.
Yeah.
And PG Sebastian points out that's the starting gun for race number 2.
And the armor just gone instantly. That whole professional identity just evaporates.
And bam, the weight of everything waiting inside just lands on her.
And that right there, that is the heart of what we're digging into today, this huge kind of disorienting identity crisis.
We're doing a deep dive into the second shift dilemma.
Exactly. And PG Sebastian defines this really specifically. It's not just about juggling work and home like maybe her mothers did. It's unique to the modern professional woman.
Right. It's the woman who's expected to excel, really excel at 2 full-time jobs. One is paid, it's celebrated, it's public, big title, big wins.
And the other, unpaid, completely unacknowledged, and often really isolating.
It's that feeling of, having it all, but actually being completely crushed because you're doing it all, and often feeling like you're doing it alone.
So this deep dive, it's grounded in PG Sebastian's 7-part series. We're here to give you that structured, deep interpretation from the Steps to Forever Knowledge Center.
Because, as the tagline says, if you want that lasting success in career and love,
Forever should be built with clarity.
And wow, does this topic ever demand clarity.
Okay, let's really unpack this split existence, because PG Sebastian talks about it as this huge societal cognitive dissonance. We've spent decades, right, celebrating women breaking the glass ceiling.
Absolutely. We cheer for the promotion, the corner office, the CEO title.
But, and this is the key point he makes, we never actually rewrote the other job description, the one for wife and mother.
We didn't fundamentally change the expectations at home. We just sort of bolted the new job on top of the old one.
So she's still the default chief home officer.
Yeah.
She just also happens to be a CEO or an SVP or whatever. Her identity gets fractured.
Yeah, at work, it's about results, maybe delegating, her values clear. At home, it's different. It's often subconsciously tied to service, to doing, and she's the one everyone expects to manage it all.
Which brings us to the partner, John, in PG's example.
And PG is really careful here. John isn't painted as a villain. He loves Sarah. He respects her career genuinely. If you asked him, he'd say he believes in equality. But he's operating off an old script, an unexamined one. It's just culturally baked in.
So what does that script actually sound like in their day-to-day life?
Well, this is where it gets subtle and kind of destructive. It's about how things are framed, often unconsciously. His job, that's seen as the primary effort, the one that earns him the right to come home and just decompress, collapse on the sofa.
Oh, okay. And her job, even if she earns more, even if it's incredibly demanding.
It gets framed as this impressive addition. It's great. She does it. Everyone's proud. But it exists alongside her assumed primary role as the anchor of the home. It doesn't replace it.
Wow. Primary versus addition. That distinction feels huge.
It's devastating.
And maybe this is a moment to just ask you, listening right now, how are you framing things in your own partnership? Is one person's career seen as the main event and the other's as, well, the supporting act, even if you don't say it out loud?
Because that subtle framing, as PG points out, it poisons everything else.
It really does, and it leads to immediate costs.
Yeah.
PG Sebastian talks about the first casualty, intimacy.
Sarah comes home, still buzzing from work, probably hyper-efficient. And she walks into maybe a messy kitchen, homework needing supervision, dinner logistics.
And she just clicks into gear, efficiency expert mode, project manager mode.
Exactly. She starts coordinating, directing, maybe even just doing it because it's faster.
So she's not really connecting with John as a partner in that moment. She's managing the household alongside him, or maybe even at him.
She becomes a coworker. Sometimes, yeah, even as manager. Definitely not his lover in that headspace.
And PG Sebastian makes this point often in his work, that dynamic, where one partner feels like the manager and the other like the, employee.
Yeah.
That leads straight to exhaustion, resentment.
Which are the absolute opposites of desire. Total intimacy killers. And that deep loneliness sets in because you feel married, but still fundamentally responsible for everything. Like you have a well-meaning helper, not a co-pilot.
Oof. Okay, so that's the emotional cost, but there's another one, right?
Right, yeah. And it's huge. PG calls it a massive, uncalculated economic theft.
Economic theft. How so?
This connects directly to why we see the leaky pipeline for women in leadership.
Yeah.
Why women stall out or drop out at higher rates as they get more senior.
Okay, explain that link, because that feels really important.
It's about capacity. Her cognitive budget,
Yeah.
her brain space, and her temporal budget, her time, are just maxed out by managing the second shift. There's no buffer, no surplus energy.
Right.
So when that big stretch opportunity comes up at work, the one that could lead to the next promotion, the project that needs crazy hours, extra travel, huge mental load for like 6 weeks straight,
She hesitates.
she instinctively pulls back. Or she might not even put her hand up for it because she knows she's the default system administrator at home. And the home system simply can't function if she's offline for that long or operating at 150% somewhere else.
Wow. So she literally cannot lean in at the office.
Because she's the only one consistently leaning in at home.
Yeah.
Her career potential, her ambition, is silently subsidizing his ability to rest, to focus single-mindedly on his own career track.
That is sobering. It's not just about fairness in chores, is it?
Not at all. It's about the couple, as a unit, potentially leaving millions in future earnings on the table, all because they haven't truly operationalized their partnership to support both careers equally. PG Sebastian calls that the quiet tragedy in so many modern, supposedly equal marriages.
And all this pressure, this constant juggling and hidden sacrifice, it builds up until...
Until the breaking point, the reckoning. PG paints this picture of Sarah, the super competent executive, just sitting in her car in the driveway, engine running. She just can't make herself go inside.
She's survived the workday pressure, the boardroom battles.
Yeah, but she knows the second she walks through that door, the second shift starts.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have anything left. No emotional energy, no physical strength for round 2.
That moment of realizing it's not her failing at 2 jobs. It's the system of trying to do 2 jobs that's failing her.
Exactly. And this leads to maybe the most critical moment for the partner, for John. When Sarah finally burns out, when she finally says, maybe through tears, I just can't do this anymore.
What happens then?
His defense.
Yeah.
Almost inevitably, PG notes, it's some version of, why didn't you just ask for help?
That phrase. Even hearing it makes my stomach clench a bit. Why is that specific line, which sounds kind of reasonable on the surface, why is it so devastating?
Because, as PG Sebastian explains it, that proves her deepest fear was true all along. It proves he did see her as the manager of the household, and himself as the helper, the subordinate, someone who pitches in only when specifically asked, when directed.
He needed a task list, a prompt, supervision maybe?
Right. He never saw himself as having inherent, proactive co-ownership of the entire operation. That ask for help line reveals the fundamental flaw in their unspoken contract.
So that old implicit contract, the one where she gets to have it all as long as she does it all and he helps out, it's just broken, terminally broken.
Completely. It cannot hold the weight of 2 ambitious careers and a shared life.
Okay. So if the old way is broken, what's the path forward? PG Sebastian is really clear, isn't he, that just making a new chore chart isn't going to cut it?
No, not for this level of complexity, not for a 2-CEO household. The solution has to be as sophisticated as the problem.
So what does this new marital contract look like?
PG argues it requires treating the marriage much more like a strategic partnership, logistically, financially, operationally. And he breaks it down into 3 core strategies. The first one
is the system audit, but including career demands.
Exactly, making the invisible visible. But it goes way beyond just listing chores. You have to map out time, yes, but also tasks, mental load, and energy demands, both at home and at work.
Like predictive fatigue mapping? That sounds intense.
It kind of is, but it's necessary. You need to know, when is her massive product launch? Q4, right? When is his huge trial? Okay, that's in March.
Because that audit reveals the actual shared capacity or
Straight.
lack thereof.
Precisely. If you know you're both going to be absolutely slammed professionally in October, you know the whole system needs reinforcement or a total overhaul for that month. You plan ahead.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the second strategy?
This flows directly from the audit. It's the strategic partnership meeting. PG calls this the clarity meeting, but elevated, like an executive board meeting for your life.
And he says this is non-negotiable, right? Like weekly. Rain or shine.
Absolutely. This is where you sit down as the 2 co-CEOs of, the John and Sarah project or whatever you want to call it.
And the key is the agenda, isn't it? It's not couples therapy time.
No, definitely not. The agenda is logistical, tactical. This is where you trade tasks, negotiate responsibilities, and assign full ownership, not just helping.
I can almost hear people listening thinking, ugh, scheduling logistics, isn't that super unromantic? Doesn't that kill the spark?
That's the common pushback. But PG's counter is powerful. What really kills the spark? Resentment kills the spark. Exhaustion kills the spark. Feeling like your partner's clueless assistant kills the spark.
Not structure.
Right. Structure, clarity, predictability that actually reduces anxiety. It creates safety, which is, ironically, much better for intimacy in the long run.
And the examples PG uses are really high level, aren't they? It's not about who scrubs the toilet this week.
Exactly. It's Sarah saying, okay, October is my Q4 launch. I'll be working late almost every night. For those 30 days, I need you to take 100% ownership of all food, getting it, making it, cleaning it up, and all the school communications and logistics. Full stop.
And John doesn't just say, okay, I'll help.
No. He confirms, maybe negotiates slightly if there's a conflict, but then he commits. And he might counter with, got it. And remember, my trial is the first 2 weeks of March. I will be completely useless then. I need you to handle all family finances, field all calls from parents, deal with any contractor stuff during that time.
Okay, I see. It's a real transfer of responsibility, trading ownership, not just tasks. It moves them out of that manager-helper dynamic.
Completely into a true accountable partnership.
Which then makes the third strategy possible and probably essential for these kinds of couples.
Radical, unemotional outsourcing.
Yes. The reality check. 2 high-powered careers, plus kids, plus life. You probably cannot do it all yourself sustainably, period.
PG's advice here is really pragmatic. You identify every single task that falls below your combined professional pay grade. If you earn, say, $200 an hour combined, why are you spending hours on tasks you could pay someone $25 an hour to do?
It's not about can we afford a cleaner, it's about can we afford not to.
Exactly. It shifts from a luxury mindset to a strategic investment mindset.
PG has that great phrase for it. You need to weaponize your joint income to buy back your most precious resource, time.
That's it. House cleaner, yes.
Yeah.
Laundry service, absolutely. Meal kit delivery, grocery delivery, maybe even a part-time family assistant. These aren't failures. They aren't luxuries.
They're strategic investments in your sanity, your marriage, your careers. You're buying back hours of your life, hours you can use for rest, connection, or that next big work project.
It is probably the highest ROI investment a dual career couple can make. It protects that cognitive and temporal budget we talked about.
Okay, so audit, strategic meetings, outsourcing, that covers the structure. But there's one more piece, isn't there? Something deeper.
Yes. The final frontier, as PG Sebastian puts it, and maybe the hardest part, the mutual defense of each other's rest.
Mutual defense of rest, what does that look like practically?
It's about validation and radical trust. It means John needs to see Sarah's need to decompress. Maybe just scrolling on her phone for 30 minutes after work, doing absolutely nothing productive, as completely valid, as non-negotiable, as important as his own need to unwind.
He needs to protect her peace, fiercely, not interrupt it with questions or demands the second she sits down.
Exactly. And then the flip side, which PG notes can be really hard for the high-achieving partner, off the woman who's been the default manager for so long.
She has to let go.
She has to grant him full, autonomous ownership of the responsibilities he's taken on in their strategic meetings. She has to trust that his way of doing the grocery shopping or loading the dishwasher or helping with homework is good enough.
Even if it's not her way, even if the dishwasher isn't perfectly optimized?
Bingo. That's the moment she truly steps out of the manager role. She stops overseeing, stops correcting, stops helping him do his job. That autonomy is the only way he can fully own it and escape that helper dynamic for good.
That feels like the real key. Trusting his competence, even if his method is different.
That's the path forward. It's how you build a marriage where both people can be ambitious, successful, and find genuine rest and connection with each other. It's possible, but it requires conscious design.
Wow. Okay, so much practical wisdom there from PG Sebastian's series. Let's try and recap the core steps for you as you're thinking about building your own forever with clarity. How do you escape the second shift trap?
Right. First, you have to see the whole picture. Conduct that comprehensive system audit. Don't forget to include the real demands of both your careers alongside all the home stuff.
Second, make it operational. Implement that weekly strategic partnership meeting. Act like the co-CEOs you are. Trade full ownership of responsibilities. Don't just assign tasks.
And third, this might be the deepest part. Fiercely protect your partner's peace. And crucially, grant them the autonomous ownership and trust they need to truly co-lead the household. Let go of the managing role.
These are big shifts, but they're critical. We really encourage you to go deeper with PG Sebastian's work on this, explore the Steps to Forever Knowledge Center, and definitely check out the full article series over on his Substack blog, also called Steps to Forever.
There's so much more detail and nuance there.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for listening, for subscribing, for turning on those notifications so you don't miss these deep dives.
Yeah, we really appreciate you making these insights part of your drive time, maybe a quiet companion while you work. Thank you for listening as we help you build your forever with clarity.